Cited Right Basics, Part 7, Principle 3, Retrievability, or Citation Systems and Citation Styles. The third principle is a principle of retrievability, which means that everything we cite has to be retrievable for our reader. So we have to give our reader all the information he needs to find our source, and that we should make it as easy as possible for him to find the source. And for this, we will have a look at the so-called intertextual chain. So usually when we read a text and there is a piece of information we would like to use in our own work, we take this piece of information, and in our own text we have to somehow make clear that this is not our own work. So we somehow have to tell our reader this is from someone else, and that's where this foreign idea starts and this is where it ends. So first thing is we indicate this is not our own work. And then we also have to say who it was from. And for this we use some kind of short in-text reference. And here we have different systems how to do it. We can, for example, use something like Müller 2007, page 56, or we use a number in brackets, or we use footnotes. So there are different systems. And all these in-text citations don't give enough information for our reader to actually find the source. So this is only a short link which refers to the full reference in the reference list. And here our reader can find all the information he needs to find the reference, to find the book, and then go to the book, read it, and check whether what we cited was correct. And this is what we call the intertextual chain. So it's about using someone else's work, indicating which part we took over and who it was from and where our reader can find this information. And it's our job to keep this intertextual chain intact. So everything we use in our own text, everything we cite, has to have a full reference in the reference list. And it's also the other way around. Everything we list in our reference list has to be cited in our text. So our reference list is not a reading bibliography, so we don't just list everything we have read concerning our topic, but here it's a reference list, so we only list what we really cited. Right. And I said that there are different systems how to do these in-text citations. And these three different citation systems are the numeric system, the author-year system, and the footnote system. And for each of those citation systems, there are hundreds of different citation styles. So let's have a look at these systems. The numeric system places a number in brackets behind the citation. And this can be square brackets as well as round brackets. It depends on the reference style. And the references in the reference list are then sorted by the number we used in the in-text citation. Then we have the author-year system, where we place the author's last name, the year of publication, and often also the number of the pages we cited in brackets behind the citation. And we then sort the references in the reference list alphabetically. The third system is the footnote system, where we place a footnote behind our citation, and in the footnote we can either give a kind of short system, which often looks similar to the author-year system, or we can also have a system where we give the full reference in the footnote. So again, there are different systems depending on the citation style. And when we use footnote systems, the reference list is usually also sorted by alphabet. So let's have a look at what kind of information we include in our reference lists. And here I have three different examples. Let's have a look at a book, a journal article, and a chapter from an edited book. And I would like you to have a look at these 3 examples and find out what kind of information you can find in all of these examples. And you can also have a look at what information does your reader need to find this source. And for this, I would like you to stop this video again and have a look at these examples and think about what information your reader needs to find your reference. So let's have a look at what kind of information we find in all of those examples. The first information we can always find is the author, someone who created this work. So that's the first thing we need, an author. Then we have always some information about when this piece was published. We then have some kind of information about what kind of work it is. That's very often the title, and sometimes we have further information about the reference type. For example, when we have a website or a blog entry or some kind of not very common source, then we sometimes have, apart from the title, also information about the type of reference we are dealing with. And then we always have information on where the source was published. This can be, for example, the place of publication and the publishing house. This can also be a URL, or in the case of a journal article, this can also be the name of the journal and the volume and issue and page numbers in which this article was published in this journal. And we do it similarly with chapters from edited books. Here we also have as the place where it was published the title and the information about the book it was published in. So the 4 information we always find in each reference is who wrote it, the author's name, when was it published, what kind of source is it, what's the title and what type is it, and where was it published, respectively, where can I find it. So these 4 pieces of information have to be in every reference. Your reader needs these 4 pieces to find your reference. So who wrote it, when was it published, what is it, what kind of source, and where was it published. That's the 4 questions you have to answer with each of your references.